Hi everybody, this is Professor Wagle and I just wanted to talk you through the two new modules that opened as well as give you some feedback on the assignments that you have been doing so far in your teams, right? So I realized that some of your teams are having problem with communications and getting people to contribute stuff on time. I urge you to be a little bit patient right now because you don't know what your fellow students are going through. Some of them may be having personal problems, professional problems. They might not have access to the internet all the time. They might be working in situations where they cannot log in all the time and check, right? So be patient a little bit, do the best you can. Yesterday what you're supposed to submit was a draft, right? So even if it was not complete, you have one more week to finish it, right? By next week hopefully things will normalize more and you should be able to come up with a good report. So please don't worry about it. Of course, if this is following a pattern where people are not really doing any work at all and coming in at the last minute and trying to force their ideas in, that's a problem. But barring that, just be a little bit more compassionate and a little bit more understanding in some cases, okay? And those of you who are having problems, make sure you communicate to your teammates. Let them know in advance, this is the situation, or I might not be able to contribute 100% this time. This is my time and this is how much I can do, right? So give them a heads up, don't leave them hanging. So it's a two-way street, right? The cooperation. But at the end of the day, try to submit whatever you have, do the best you can and submit it. Okay. Now, this week's assignments, right? So you have two this week and two next week, and I've kind of opened up the modules for both weeks this time, which is something I don't usually like to do because it just tends to stress out students or confuse students. But the deadlines are 2 weeks over the next 2 weeks, so you shouldn't really worry about it. Now, what is the assignment? This is your another team assignment, though this is your last team assignment. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. But this is your major team assignment. This is your last team assignment before the semester is over. And this is Employment Outlook Report. Now, what's an Employment Outlook Report? If you go on Module 12, you have a submission there you have instructions for the rough draft of the Employment Outlook Report, right? It says it's due sometime, not next week, but the week after. But again, it's a rough draft. So it doesn't have to be complete. It doesn't have to be properly formatted, though if it does, that's great. But it will give you an idea of what it entails. Your Employment Outlook Report is a combination of primary and secondary research. Okay, so the primary research that you will do for this report is all scheduled for this upcoming week, the first week of April, right? Let me pull up the assignment that's due. One is due next Friday and the other one is due on Sunday, right? So the first one is due interview questions, due developing interview questions, okay? Now, these interview questions are different than the interview questions you guys did for your when you were doing your resume and your LinkedIn and preparing to go on an interview, right? At that time, you were anticipating questions that would be asked of you and how you would answer them, right? This is not that. This is a different assignment. This is you asking questions to a professional in your field, right? So this is not questions being asked to you. These are questions being asked by you to a professional in the field of and the field is the field which you will be going to, right? So if you're an accountant, These are the questions, if you are an accounting major, these are the questions you will be asking an accountant who is already working in a company or in private practice as an accountant, right? So what questions as an accounting major would you like to ask him? So again, this is a team assignment, this is a discussion post. So you're just coming up with 5 to 7 questions each of you would like to ask an accountant if you got a chance to interview them, right? So it's like I don't know if you guys have professional days in your colleges, right? When I was an undergrad, we would get English majors who are already working as professors or working in publishing industries who would come to our class and give us a small talk lecture, and then we could ask them questions. This is what you're doing. So imagine you are getting a chance to interview a professional in your field. What are the questions you want to ask him or her, right? That's all this is. So come up with the questions, ask them, write them down here, right? There's no right or wrong question. You are just brainstorming. Everybody's coming up with a list of 5 to 7 questions, and then you can finalize as you figure it out which questions are good enough to ask a professional, right? That's all this is. This is just a brainstorming, developing interview questions. That's all it is, right? That's your first assignment for this week, and it's due April 1st. But the only reason I've given you less time for this is because this is a brainstorming discussion question. It's not a crazy assignment, right? Don't overthink this, just go with it, okay? The next one is project management software report final. So you already submitted your drafts. You should get your reviews, peer reviews on that assignment soon from your peers. I'm hoping everybody will be able to review and give some comments back by Tuesday, so all the groups have enough time to redo and submit their final drafts, okay? Again, if you need a couple of more days to do that report, final report, let me know and I can extend the date for you. But you should, I've looked through some of the reports and they look pretty done to me. So there should really be no problem with those, okay? Now, the next assignment for next week is gathering data for employment outlook report. This is a little bit more elaborate. I'll post some examples of how other students in my classes, earlier classes have done that. So you guys have an idea how to write that stuff out, how to write this report out, which should be written in a memo format, but I'll write that down for you. Okay, I'll show you some examples of it. But this is again part of your primary research for your employment outlook report, right? So for this, what you're going to do is gather 3 job postings for a position in your intended field. What does this mean? Now, you have gathered job postings before, right, for your resume. But in that case, you are looking at internship positions that you would be wanting to apply for in the coming summer months, right? These are not internship postings you're looking for. These job postings that you are going to look for, you can look for them on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on Glassdoor, all the other websites which publish professional postings, right? And these postings are what you would be looking for the semester you are going to graduate, right? So look for entry level positions in your field. So if you're an engineering major, look for entry-level engineering postings, right? If you're an accounting major, entry-level accounting postings, so on and so forth. So that's what you're looking for. You're just gathering 3 job postings. You're not applying for them. You're just gathering 3 postings. Now, why are we asking you to do that? This gives you an idea what it is potential employers look for when they advertise for recent graduates to apply in their companies, right? So again, just like internship postings, you will see a wide variety of things they look for. Some of them might be looking for your GPA or what courses you have taken. Some might prefer you have an internship experience or some kind of prior experience. They might ask if you have experience working for teams. Again, you are not applying to these postings, you're just looking at these postings and analyzing them. For the purpose of this employment outlook report assignment part, all you're doing is gathering 3 job postings. So copy paste the link to that job posting in LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever it is. Paste it on a Word document. Before that, write down the position, the name of the company, and the location of the company. And then once you've finished gathering those 3 job postings, you can just write roughly like some points that strike out to you, right? All of them are looking for jobs. All of them are looking for your education, or all of them are emphasizing on GPAs, or they don't care about experience, but they care that you have taken certain classes. Whatever it is that strikes to you, which are like common 3 or 4 factors, and some which are different. So some companies might look for something else. So just kind of analyze them quick and jot down some things about that. The second thing that it's asking you to do is conduct an individual interview with a professional in your intended field. Now, again, the deadline for this is next Sunday. I do not expect you to find somebody to interview and finish that interview and write it down by next Sunday. That's just kind of not really possible, right? I mean, it's possible for some of you probably, but not for all of you. But at least if you can interview them, at least have a name and a contact information, whether it's email or phone number or whatever it is, have that and put that in your report, right? So just these 2 things is what you're writing here, right? Again, I'll post examples so you have an idea what you're doing, but that's what you're doing here, right? Now, why are we asking you to do all this stuff? So when you have the name and number or contact information of this person, you will be asked to interview them, which brings in your first assignment where you already come up with questions you want to ask, right? Now, if you're doing an email interview or even a phone interview, you are calling up people who are busy, especially in these times if they're working from home. I know from my own experience and from my husband's experience, we are working more now from home than we used to work when we had regular class schedules, because it's just the nature of things, right? We have to prepare more, we have to do more, we are always there on the screen. So give them enough time. So if you have come up with a name and a contact information, and if your team has decided on questions each of you can ask this person, then start getting in touch with them this week itself. So that, because it will take you time to get in touch with them, to send them questions, for them to answer those questions and send it back to you, right? So by the time 3 weeks from now, when your report is due, you already have that portion of the research done, right? So make sure you do that. And then gathering 3 job postings, that's like a very easy assignment. So you should be able to do that too by the end of next week. So by the end of first week of on that Sunday, not this tomorrow Sunday, but the Sunday that's coming up, you should be done with that too. So have at least the name and contact information, if not the whole interview of the person. If you can get the interview, that's even great. So those are the 2 things you guys are going to do. Those 2 assignments. The rest of it, I can do another video for you guys and post that. Okay, so for now, do these. Focus on your reviews for your teammates' software management reports. Do accordingly changes to your own reports based on their comments, based on my comments, and submit that. So 3 easy things for you for next week. Okay, if you want to see more what this report entails, the rubric and all of that stuff, it's in module 12, it's published, but the deadlines for that are the week after that, so don't worry about that. Okay, that's all I have for you guys now. If you have any questions, let me know. Our Zoom office hours are again tomorrow on Monday 1 to 2. So if you guys can log in and clarify any doubts, questions you have, you can do it that day. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye bye.